The situations and emotions a person experiences while a loved one struggles with a drug or alcohol addiction can completely be overwhelming, but things can always get better.
Christy Ulrich from Face It Together tells us how addiction impacts the family as well. Welcome back to the show. Congratulations on your shop opening up.
Thank you.
I know that you do a lot of work with obviously the family healing as well, so tell us about how that works.
We do. Well, for every person that's affected by addiction, there's an additional 3 to 4 family members that are also addicted. So there's a lot of emotions that go along with that.
And I know you guys have already seen the numbers coming in then.
We have. And it's exciting, and it's to be able to open our doors last week and have our grand opening coming up in a week from Wednesday is really exciting. But with the loved ones, it's really important. We have somebody that I personally know, their child came in, and it's an adult child, but the mom called me and she said, I'm feeling all these feelings. I need to see somebody. How do I deal with this? So that's really important because the #1 priority is keeping ourselves healthy if we're helping somebody else with addiction.
You know, you see those shows called like Intervention where the, excuse me, the addict doesn't want to go. Excuse me, yeah. And so could you work with the family even if the addict's not there and kind of help them build a plan and deal with the emotions they're dealing with?
Absolutely, because there's fear, there's anxiety, there's just a lot of unknowns, and a lot of things happen. If you're working and you have a spouse or a child that's struggling with addiction, we call it presenteeism. They're at work, but they're not really present. And so we help that person get through those emotions and help them to understand that the feelings that they have are very normal.
So what kind of programs do you guys have available for those family members? I know that even just being able to kind of openly talk about it can be helpful in itself.
Very helpful, and we have peers that have dealt with it themselves. So similar to our addiction recovery program, peer-to-peer coaching, we have loved one coaches.
Wow.
So I call up, show up, sit down with people face to face? Is it over the phone? How does it work?
Any of those. So we've got video conferencing available, kind of telehealth. We have one-on-one, and we also have telephone recovery coaching available.
I know you were saying about 3 to 4 family members per each person that is, suffering from an addiction. So how many in a year does that equal to be that you guys are going to be helping out? Do you have that prediction of that number?
It's a hard prediction because sometimes people are afraid to come forward. There's always that fear that I don't want anybody to know that my spouse is struggling with addiction. And it's the fear and stigma, shame and stigma that goes along with all of it. And how do we normalize the disease so people have the ability to talk about it? Recently, another conversation I had with someone, and she said, oh, my grandchild is suffering from addiction. And the other friend of hers said, really, so are mine. I've got 2 that are struggling. So all of a sudden you start talking about it and normalizing that disease, and you don't feel so isolated.
Well, and of course it's confidential. I mean, if I do a video conference or a phone call or whatever, that's completely confidential, correct?
Completely confidential. We follow all of HIPAA's regulations. So anybody can come through our door and it's completely confidential.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's what I was going to just ask. How can people get in touch with you guys? Because new location, doors opening, or are open now, grand opening coming up.
So we are in Prairie Stone Center on the south side. So our parking lot faces Mattio's Pizza, which is kind of a detriment at times, but great pizza over there. And so they can walk in, they can call us, 566-5631, or our website is faceitfargomoorhead.org.
Great stuff. And then quickly, when's the grand opening if people want to come out?
September 20th.
What time?
10 to 5, and then we have a ribbon cutting with the chamber at 2.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right, stick around. When we come back, we're going to give you a chance to get signed up with the Boy Scouts right after this.